Welcome to Pilgrim's Rest Channel. Our mission here is, well, it's pretty clear. We want to open up some of those profound, deeply spiritual books that have been passed down through the generations. The idea is to find rest and supply for saints, for you on your pilgrimage, to help you regain some strength for the road ahead. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the wisdom of a truly foundational 20th century theologian. For those of you who are really serious about your spiritual walk, this author is, I would say, essential reading. We're looking for those timeless truths that can anchor our faith.
And the source we're opening today is a towering work, really. It's The Triumph of the Crucified by Erich Sauer.
Erich Sauer. His influence is sort of quiet, but just so profound. He was a master at presenting the whole sweep of biblical history.
Right, in a way that's structured but also accessible.
And for anyone who doesn't know, he was a German theologian. His work is just highly respected for its rigorous commitment to Scripture. We don't need to do a whole biography.
No, but it's important to know that foundation. It tells you why his work has lasted. It's not just opinion, it's deep scriptural analysis.
Exactly.
And that title alone, The Triumph of the Crucified, I mean, that's the essential paradox of Christian life right there.
It is.
It doesn't allow for that easy separation of, sacrifice first, victory later. It's an immediate tension.
So most people are looking for triumph after the suffering.
Exactly. But Sauer is showing us that the triumph is actually rooted in the suffering. The cross, the moment of ultimate weakness, is directly connected to the ultimate victory.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What does a triumph rooted in crucifixion actually mean for our daily walk as pilgrims? What kind of supply does this text really offer us today?
Well, what's so fascinating is how Sauer just completely recalibrates our definition of power, of success. We live in a world that associates triumph with, being seen, with prosperity, with immediate results. Sauer just pushes back on that completely. He shows that loss and sacrifice are not just things you have to get through to get to the victory. They're the path and even the evidence of a victory that's already been won.
So it reframes the cross. It's not this tragic endpoint we have to endure.
No, it's the starting point of real transformative power in our lives.
That has immediate relevance for anyone who just feels inadequate or discouraged or, frankly, exhausted on their spiritual path.
Right.
If your current road feels steep or frustrating or even like you're failing, this perspective just shifts everything. The rest and supply here isn't a promise that God will just, remove the obstacles.
Not at all. It's the profound realization of the meaning behind the struggle, the divine purpose in it.
Exactly.
The text becomes this robust theological anchor for the journey because it's built on this truth that divine strength is perfected in our weakness.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, Sauer is really challenging those superficial ideas of piety.
Oh, absolutely. The idea that if you have enough faith, you won't have any trouble. He pushes us toward a deep-rooted faith that sees the redemptive role of submission and lowliness.
It's like if the spiritual journey is a climb, a lot of books promise you the great view from the summit.
Mm-hmm.
But Sauer is focused on the transformation that happens on the steepest part of the path, the part where your own strength runs out.
And that exposure, that seeming weakness, that is precisely where the power of the crucified one is found.
And this leads us deeper into his analysis.
Yes, because he grounds this triumph in completed biblical truth. He's not just talking about feelings. He focuses heavily on texts like Ephesians chapter 1.
Where the triumph isn't just about the resurrection itself.
Right. It's Christ being seated at the right hand of the Father with authority far above all rule and authority. His humiliation on the cross was the act that secured that cosmic authority.
That is such a critical distinction. It's not just about my personal suffering. It's about participating in a cosmic victory that's already been secured. But how does Sauer argue that my daily discouragement or my personal lowliness participates in that huge cosmic triumph?
He argues that the spiritual high ground is gained through the low ground. It's a principle.
Okay.
If Christ's victory was won through voluntary humiliation, then our conformity to him, our sanctification, it follows that same path. It's a process of accepting self-denial.
So the supply comes when you realize your weakness isn't a defect.
Yes. It's the ideal condition for his divine achievement to be displayed.
That is a radical reorientation. So let's talk about the breadth of this impact. We have saints of all ages listening, from young people struggling with worldly pressures to, older saints wrestling with endurance.
Sure.
And today's world is just a fire hose of immediate gratification. How does a book like this offer a slower, more durable kind of hope?
Well, its enduring influence comes from dealing with timeless spiritual realities: sin, redemption, glory. When contemporary trends feel, overwhelming or kind of fleeting, these classic texts provide a vital anchor.
A historical anchor.
Exactly. They remind us that the foundation laid 2,000 years ago hasn't changed. The process of becoming like Christ is still a process of conforming to the crucified one.
This brings up a really important question that I think the text forces us to confront. Do we truly embrace the triumph part of the title? Or do we just stop at the crucifixion?
That's a great question.
We're quick to recognize our cross, our struggle, our pain,
Yeah.
but we sometimes fail to see that those things are the very mechanism for his victory in our lives right now.
So many believers treat the crucifixion as, a historical event for salvation, but the triumph is something for later, for heaven.
Or for when we get a big, visible blessing.
Right. But Sauer integrates them completely. He's emphatic that the victory is happening now precisely because the cross provides the framework. He offers incredible clarity on the purpose of our temporary struggles.
And that clarity, I think that's the key to the rest our channel is all about. When you understand the purpose of your current hardship, you stop fighting the circumstances. You start resting in the God who is using them for triumph.
Absolutely. And think about the impact on long-term hope, on avoiding burnout.
Yeah.
If our hope is based on our performance, our ability to avoid setbacks, it's going to fail. It just will.
It's inevitable.
But if our hope is anchored in the one who triumphed through loss, through humility, then our current weakness becomes the necessary canvas for God to paint his strength.
Let's make this even more practical. For the listener seeking that supply right now, these classic works often have these golden phrases, distilled moments of clarity.
Yes.
Can you share a key concept from Sauer that really embodies this perspective?
His work is full of them, but one synthesis that I think captures the essence is this: the power of resurrection flows only through the path of death.
Wow.
And that isn't just a metaphor for salvation, it's a blueprint for daily spiritual growth.
So it reminds the pilgrim that true, enduring life and power requires this constant yielding of our own strength.
That's it. The value of this work lies in those distilled truths. They act like guiding lights for the traveler, reminding us of the destination, yes, but also of the power in the journey itself.
The power of resurrection flows only through the path of death. That's supply for the week right there.
It is.
It reminds us we aren't just waiting for a future victory. We are actively walking in a victory that was already accomplished through paradox.
And this changes everything. It changes how we respond to spiritual dryness, to temptation.
How so?
Well, when temptation comes, our first instinct is to fight it with willpower, our own strength.
Right, to muscle through it.
But Sauer's perspective shifts us to recognizing the truth of, say, Colossians chapter 3, verse 3, that our life is hidden with Christ in God. The triumph comes from identifying with the death Christ accomplished, not from relying on our own strength to survive an attack.
So it shifts the focus from my personal performance to his divine achievement. So bringing this full circle for you, the listener, our fellow traveler seeking deeper knowledge. This deep dive into Sauer's work is really a call to re-examine the foundation of your faith. It's a call to see the implications of the cross beyond simple forgiveness. It's a blueprint for how to live, how to find strength.
It is. Sauer provides a roadmap for understanding that the spiritual high ground, the place of true rest, is gained through the low ground of submission.
That recognition is the supply. It's what prevents burnout.
Because the pressure is off of your performance and it's placed squarely on Christ's completed work. When we see our struggles and our weaknesses as necessary parts of the triumph, they stop being barriers. They become doorways.
So practically for this week, how can integrating this change how you handle discouragement or spiritual dryness?
Yeah.
It just dramatically shifts the focus. You stop worrying about your personal capability and you start meditating on his divine achievement.
Exactly. When you feel weak, you are, according to Scripture, in the ideal posture to experience the power of the crucified Christ.
And this isn't just, an intellectual idea. It's a radical reorientation of how we live.
It's a powerful assurance. It tells the pilgrim that the temporary pain they face isn't meaningless. It's essential for the eternal glory being worked in them. The cross isn't just history. It's a present reality, and it's the only true source of genuine and lasting triumph.
As we conclude, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you continue on your pilgrimage. How is the triumph of the crucified life manifesting in an unexpected area of weakness or struggle in your life right now? Look for God using the very thing that seems to be hindering you as the engine for true spiritual growth. Look for the victory where you least expect it.
Let your current weakness be the signal that Christ is preparing to display his strength.
Thank you for listening to Pilgrim's Rest Channel. We welcome you to leave a comment detailing the harvest you received from listening today, so we fellow pilgrims may mutually support and encourage each other. We look forward to seeing you next time.